What's going on, everybody? It's Civil here, and in this video we're going to be going over how the best pro players are able to stop the run consistently, and that's going to be going over a concept called shooting the gap. Now what this looks like is, let me show you out of something like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we're going to get into depth about how you do it, okay? So you see, you think it's going to be a run, stand over here, snap the ball, come down. We shot the gap. Now, we ended up getting picked up by pulling backside tight end, but you see how we're coming free through the gap, shooting the gap, okay? And the way you're going to want to do this is, the first thing I want to talk about is something called the tackle box. Now, this is going to be the area between this tackle right here and this tackle right here. And it goes up about 5 yards, about this deep into the defense, okay? So all the way here, this is a tackle box. Now, when you're trying to shoot the gap in a shotgun run, what you have to remember about shotgun runs is that all shotgun runs, besides 0-1 traps, which because of the pulling guard, it actually works pretty much the same. All shotgun runs go halfback side to the other side. And what I mean by this is, look at inside zone here. We see how inside zone, halfbacks to the left, the run's going to the right. Okay, if you have a halfback base, the run or the halfback is to one side and the run is going the other way. Halfbacks don't go downhill really. And the way you're going to want to shoot gaps on runs like these is standing outside of the box, hiding. This is called hiding right here, because the offensive line won't register you. Now, when you have tight ends in the mix, it makes it a little bit trickier. But look, we're hiding right here and we're able to shoot it. And once again, that backside tight end's pulling all the way across, which is really weird. That's usually doesn't happen. But you see how we're getting a good shoot through the gap, and it's very hard for you to be able to run on this because you're shooting it with your user. And the reason this is so good is because you don't have to make any other kind of adjustments. Okay, you can do this out of any formation for the most part, and you can do this against almost any formation. Now, the heavier they get, or the more tight ends they added to the mixture, the harder it gets. And the reason for this is because that tackle box kind of gets a little bit wider almost. And so the way we're going to combat this is by using a DB. And we see right here, while we did not shoot the gap, we had another person come free. They missed the tackle because pursuits are really bad. But when they start adding tight ends to the mix, going to the run side, you're going to want to start using a DB to be able to really shoot that gap, because you see, if we hide here, I'm going to show you what happens. So if we do the same thing and we hide right here, we're going to get picked up because that tight end is now helping the run blocking game. So what we're going to do is, by using that DB, we're going to kind of give ourselves a better chance. More people, really. It's just more people in the box to help us confuse the offensive line and get a free release. Because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the box, plus our user hiding out here. So it's going to make it easier to shoot this gap. Right here we see the gap that time formed kind of around the outside, and we were able to get some backside pursuit as well. And that will happen sometimes. You have to learn the gap shoot for each defensive formation on each offensive formation. But once you start getting the hang of it, it does start to become pretty easy. Let me show you guys from something like trips tight end, okay? So in here, let me go cover 2, very simple defense, very simple defense. Now when you're standing right here, you're outside the tackle box, but you become the responsibility of this wide receiver right here. So it's going to be a race to the point of attack, okay? When we snap the ball, you see how that wide receiver tried getting us, but we were able to beat him. If you are slow, he will get you. I'm going to show you what happens when you're slow right here. So, let's go Tampa 2. Say, I'm trying to hide right here. I'm trying to do it, whatever. And say I hesitate. We got blocked. Now, it wasn't a good block, but we did get hit. And if that's a better block, we get driven down, and they're able to get a big gain. So, you have to know formations a little bit like that, where you have to know whose responsibility you become, okay? Like I said, in trips, you'll become that guy, that wide receiver's responsibility. And another way to help that is by moving this guy down here because now it kind of confuses responsibilities. And if you blitz him, he's going to be coming off the edge, plus you have your gap shoot. Okay, so boom. We say we're able to shoot the gap again. The tight end keeps pulling. I don't know why that's happening. That does not happen at inside zones ever. But we're seeing how you can manipulate the offensive line where they're not gonna register you coming down, and you're gonna see how you can beat the wide receiver to the point of attack. Now this becomes harder when they do something like this. Okay, so we're gonna set up the same defense, but the reason this is harder is because the tight end or the wide receiver is closer to you, so he's gonna be able to get to you a lot faster. So boom, you see how we got hit right there. That's why running trips to the short side, like inside zone or like a slot inside zone to the short side, having the heavy side to the short side, makes it really hard to get blown up because the wide receivers help so much getting to the second level in terms of linebackers and safeties. So if someone's doing that, like I said, a really good way to kind of combat it is move him in. And if you wanted to, if the run was really giving you problems, you can move this guy down, or it could be the safety, doesn't matter. But here, and even that wasn't really enough, but you're able to see that you're able to get a little bit more of a gap shoot. Okay, and if you start practicing it, like I said, like that's not really something I really have a lot of practice with. There's certain formations I have labbed the gap shoots for, not all of them. I kind of lab them as I get to them, but that is a good way of kind of having rules for yourself of knowing when you can shoot it and when you're not going to be able to shoot it. Another one is when you're playing up against a compressed set. Now, we can hide outside the tackle box here, but as you guys can already tell, the wide receiver is going to get to us most likely. And the reason for that is because he's so close to us. It's very easy to see why that happens. So, for something like this, if they're going to come in a compressed set and they're going to run the ball over and over again, you're going to have to bring this guy down. I like to bring him like right here. Bring this guy. You're going to have to probably user this guy right here and try to shoot like this. So here you go. You will see that that's a really easy way to shoot it. Now, I may have overcommitted right there. I don't know. But that is one way that you're able to shoot it when they have compressed sets, because it does get difficult. Okay. But that's going to be it for basically the shotgun portion of this. Things get harder when you get under center, depending on what the under center formation is. Something like this, where like it's a dive. Let's see if I nickel normal still. So obviously, so here, we know we have to worry about dive and stretch. You're not going to be able to shoot it from here. I'm going to show you what happens. So we're outside the tackle box, but we have tight ends on this side who are going to really mess up what our gap shoots are going to look like. So here, we see that we're not able to shoot the gap at all. So when you're playing an under center run, what you want to do is try to shoot it from the weak side. So over here, we have this tackle is going to be taking twin, and the guard is going to be on Crawford most likely. So we should have this, and then we can also blitz this guy backside as well to kind of help us. And we got picked up, but like I said, blitzing the guy backside, he comes down hard enough to where that is going to make up for it. Okay, so that's kind of an option you have to shoot dives under center. But you do want to lab it according to the formation. Certain formations do it better. Nickel 3-3-5, it's kind of easy to shoot gaps once you get to know it. Big nickel, it's very easy. I like nickel normal. Now the last portion I want to talk about is I-form. This is very hard to shoot gaps just due to the fact that there is a fullback getting in the way. And the fullback, basically if you shoot the gap, the fullback is going to get you. So what you have to do here is you have to shoot it from the opposite way the fullback is going. So if you know they're running the ball to the right, you have to do it like this and hope that you're able to actually get through the gap because the fullback won't recognize you. So that's how you're going to shoot the gap on I-form. I'm not really going to go super in-depth into I-form gap shoots unless that's something that you guys request. Strong offset I formations, basically, they're very hard to shoot the gaps on because they're just so heavy. Like, you can't really expect to shoot the gap on strong close. Those are runs that you just want to really try to contain by getting into a denser set and having all the gaps filled. Really, it's really important for gap integrity for formations like this. Okay, but going into it, like I said, if someone is running something, let's see, do I have base? So I have base here. So I'm gonna show you guys one thing, that if someone's killing you with a run with a pulling guard, this is something you can kind of do to kind of combat that. Okay. So if someone's killing you with a pulling guard, and you know there's a good chance they're gonna run it, what you can do is you can try to shoot it backside like that. So what we're doing here is we're replacing where the guard came from. Okay, we're still hiding outside the tackle box like I was talking about, but we're now replacing where the guard went from, and we're able to shoot the gap because no one is really replacing him well enough. The center gets backside, but there's still a hole. And then this is the only time you really want to shoot shotgun runs from the same side as a halfback, and that's only when there's a pulling guard on a halfback base like run. Trap, you don't want to. Only halfback bases. Halfback bases and like maybe like a power, or if there's some kind of sweep that I'm unaware of, something like that. But besides that, you want to make sure that you are opposite the halfback. Okay, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I think it's very helpful. I think it's very instructional. It's a good way to learn something. Make sure you guys leave a comment about a formation you guys are having problems with blowing up the run, or a formation that you can't blow up the run from, and I will try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.